Okay, we get a 1924. He goes e4. So I like playing the Sicilian against e4 generally. Oh, and he might be going for a Smith Mora, which I know how to play very well, but I don't really know how to play against it super well. I need to study it more, definitely. We're gonna take. I know there is one trap we can play with your queen being on c7, and eventually there's some checkmating threats called Siberian Trap. But I think I might go for more of a Schwinnigan structure. It's pretty safe. Maybe go for knight c6, d6. There's lots of traps you gotta be aware of though. And one of these lines in the Schwinnigan, the queen c7 is bad because of some tactics, but I'd have to think about it when we get there. So end up going knight f3, typical development. I could go here. Maybe we see e4, e5, which is a little bit annoying. I'm trying to remember the order of this. I think we play this first, and then we play this, and then this. So we play this. They castle usually, and then here. Say we go here. We play this move. Takes. I think this move is viable. If we see e5, we'll play d5. And then they castle, we play bishop e7. Although we play bishop e7, maybe we see this then. Now that we haven't committed our bishop, we could still maybe think about queen c7 possibly. But yeah, Smith Mora can get really interesting. The idea is you have an open d file and quick development, so you can usually, especially if I play d6 right here, you might see queen e2 and then a quick rook d1, and there's some issues with the d file, so I could step out of it early. Then we might see this, which is unpleasant. You'd have to go back here. Let me see. I think here. Yeah, there's two ways to play this. I could go here, or I could play this move. This seems a little too slow. I need to get my king out of the center. If I play this, is this a problem? Because now we play this. He takes, we take, then he takes this. Whereas before he was just taking a pawn. Huh. Interesting position. Queen c7. Where's our bishop want to be? I guess we put it here. Castle. This square is a big issue. This is probably the safest option. But we need to be worried about this knight first? Probably not until he moves his bishop over. Then we need to be aware of that. So I'm gonna play this move. Need to get this bishop over and castle ASAP. Yeah, as I said before, and the rook coming is gonna be an issue. We play queen c7 now. Here. Hmm. Maybe when we place rook over here, we play this. We can play this move maybe. I'm gonna play bishop e7 first. And we really want to, especially with maybe e5 coming, we really want to get out of this pin. Queen a5 looks interesting if we see this, but then we come back. Is there any threats that we can see there? Does the knight want to come in? Maybe knight d5 is a typical idea in these kind of structures. Yeah, I want to play this move and see what he does. Idea of maybe bringing the queen around. The biggest thing is we want to get out of this d file with the rook here, ideally. But yeah, the Smith Morra playing on the white side is very fun. There's a lot of counterplay and for that, or a lot of compensation, I should say, for the pawn you give up. And I think it's one of the most, and many top players say this is one of the most sound gamuts you can play. A big proponent of the system is a IM called Mark Esserman. He's honestly one of the most fun players to watch that I've seen tactically, and the ideas you come up, especially with this opening. But he's a big proponent of this opening, and he wrote a book which I actually own called Mayhem in the Morra, and I've read a few chapters. You'd think I would know the black side a little better, but I only know a couple lines in white. I'm still learning it, but it's a really fun system, and a lot of traps and things that black can fall into. I know I was playing this instead of queen c7 because I know in some lines that the bishop comes out here, and I know then was one line where queen c7 is not great. I think in the Schwinnigan, maybe queen c7 was the move because of this, which is pretty annoying actually. But can we play this move here? It does open up this bishop. Yeah, I don't think d5 works. We could give up a pawn here, 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 but then that runs into a fork, which wouldn't be ideal. So maybe queen c7 was the move. Do we just have to go back? There's no real way for me to guard this pawn and this square. Get to take here, take. That way the queen's under threat. Takes. That looks pretty dangerous. Or we could simply castle and give up a pawn. Tough position. So castles, that the fork's no longer a problem. What I'm worried about, if I go back to d8, then this could be a real problem. Pressure kind of becomes unbearable here. I wish I could move my knight here, maybe, but is there some kind of counter threat I can make? Okay, come here. He takes, then we have this move. And then the light square diagonal becomes really weak. So maybe I needed to play a6 sooner. Huh. Let's see. We come back. I don't know if that's a good idea. So what are the candidate moves? We have queen d8, possibly. We have maybe knight e5, knight takes. Okay, wait. Knight e5, Takes. He can't take because we have... No, we don't have that because of the knight. What I'm worried about is it takes the fork. This move. Takes. Knight takes. This is probably wrong. What happens if I play this and then he comes here? I should play this move. I'm gonna have to look at the game afterwards. I know I did something wrong in the opening. I know this is giving up a pawn, but I can't allow his knight to just land on that square. And maybe now I can open up my bishop. If he comes here, then maybe I have this move. Yeah. Now, do I take with the knight or do I take with the... Take with a pawn. Very precarious here. I guess the knight can still play this move because because this bishop's pinned. But then maybe do I even play this? That looks crazy. And then two pieces are hanging. That might be. I forgot about knight d6 with exploiting the pin. I hope he doesn't find that. Then I could maybe then I could just play king f8. And either he leaves the pawn in the center or I take the bishop so the f7's not as weak. I don't know, interesting position here though. I think queen a5 there. I know in some positions I've seen when I play the Mora that people play that against me and it's an annoying move, but I think queen a5 was the mistake there. Yeah, he finds it. And I can't take. So there's two candidate moves here. Either I play here or I play here, which is insane. So let's just calculate this. If I play here, that's out of the question because he takes on f7. So we're just gonna move back. And I'm forgetting now that the knight's moved, my queen is defending the square too. So we actually can't take on d5. Which is good. And the knight is hanging now. So this might have been actually kind of a win. There is ideas of maybe sacking on f7, but with this square protected, I think I'd be okay. The knight could be coming in, which looks a little scary. So like, let's say, for instance, takes here, which come back. That does look pretty terrifying, but I think I'm okay. And just when the knight gone, I can think about playing, not yet, but eventually. And he still has to deal with this bishop. So I'll have to look at it after the game. For the moment, I'm up a pawn, but may not last for long. And I welcome him taking this bishop here. Just that knight is just very active. I'd like to take it for free, but in fact, I'll pre-move this just in case he does. I don't see it. Or actually, do I take this first? I take this first. Then he can play this. And then he gets both my bishops. I probably don't want that, but this bishop is strong. If I take here, then I have to take here because otherwise it's trapped. I'm going to win it next move. So we know his next move. And we would this bishop is pretty scary. I let it get opened up. I take, queen takes, but then that kind of especially with this knight maybe coming in, that I'll just take. Bishop still has to retreat. If we can survive this, we are still up a pawn, so that is something to be aware of. I need to figure out a way to get this rook out. If I could just castle here, then my king would be safe, and maybe we play this move because we need to defend an interesting, well, not now, but once he moves his bishop. I think h6 needs to be played because he's going to try to remove the defender. If he attacks my queen, I probably just go then the bishop's under attack. Question, maybe we play this move. Is h6 too slow? What do I need to do? My knights are doing a good job. I'm gonna play this. Kind of keep this knight at bay. Be curious to analyze this for sure. But right now I need to figure out a way to consolidate and get some initiative because right now he still has many threats he can throw at me. Bishop e2 kind of looks annoying, but I think in that position I could probably go back to d8 because the bishop is kind of blocking that file, so it's not as dangerous. I don't see any tactics yet. We're up a pawn, so if we can trade, if we can take some trades, like trades are good for us because we are up a pawn. So we make it to the end game. There's less. Our king is less to worry about, and we're up a pawn. Simply, we have this central pawn, so we can keep this alive. This is a passed pawn as well. There's no pawn that can guard it. I would like to remove this knight somehow. But the problem is I can't really move this without this interfering. So I need to find a way to get my king off of the square and get my other rook involved to defend. But yeah, like I said, maybe what's the best spot for my queen? Maybe we go here. If we go here, then maybe he brings his rook over here. But then we possibly have something like this. I'm gonna do that for now. If we play this right now, then we lose our pawn. That's the problem. This bishop is really annoying. So maybe if we get a chance, we can play a move like this. Okay, it's interesting. So now Hmm. I'm getting a call. God, I don't know what to play here. This is stressful. Um, my rook probably, even though it's nice to have it on the c file, I think it should probably be defending. Um, one thing he is threatening to do, that's a great move, removing the defender. Hey, Dad, give me 1 minute. I'm filming a video. I'll be right down in a minute. I'm filming a video. I'll be down in a minute. Maybe we sacrifice this. Or we're going to lose this anyways. Takes. Comes here. We open up our queen. Don't know what to play. Probably going to lose his pawn. Huh. Kind of wish this bishop wasn't here. Is there any counter threats we can make? We play this move. He takes. We take, and then we have a mate threat here, which we can't play that actually. I'm gonna play this because I need to make some sort of threat. This is a very bad position. I wish I could teleport my king out of the square. So we are gonna lose this pawn. Like, there's no way we're gonna keep it. But my idea is if he takes our knight on f6, we take back with the bishop, and from there, I mean, he has to move his queen. Do something. With this, we do have a trade, and then it's going into an equal endgame. But I'm not sure. I really wanted to play this move because of the Siberian stuff, but the d4 square is still really well protected. So we'll have to see. I don't know. It's really. I kind of feel helpless in this position. We're still okay, but I wouldn't be surprised if the engine says it's like +3 at least. Like, there's just so many threats. We're losing a pawn. The king is pretty. I mean, the king is like. It's not in imminent danger of getting checkmated, but it is a little bit scary. Maybe h6 was a little bit of a mistake because it allowed our opponent to maybe bring more pieces into the game. My worry was that he was going to bring the bishop in here, but he was clever and he found a way to attack my queen and then bring it in this way. So maybe we should have pushed this earlier. But with the idea that we're going to lose the pawn anyways, we might as well get a good version of it. With the king on a dark square, maybe getting the dark square bishop off would be a good idea, but this bishop coming in could possibly be annoying. I don't know can we afford to play this move? That makes this diagonal really weak. I need to find a way to get this rook into the game. Is this too slow? Here. For a moment, we make our king really weak. But we need desperately to figure out how to. Maybe we should have brought the king the other way. But I don't know. Black has a lot of problems. Black, meaning me, we got a lot of problems to solve here. And this guy seems to be a pretty good player, so it's a good thing I did a 15-10 because this is tough. What are the ideas here? I mean, I would like to start making some threats. Trade that knight off. Really, we need to trade that. We need to get the light squared bishop off the board because that's the only way I'm gonna get my king out. Is I realistically is going to h7, and that's pretty dangerous. But I'll have to see what he plays. So maybe at some point in the near future we play knight a5, for instance. But then the bishop comes over, and that's pretty annoying. We need to find a way to trade it off. Just trades. I'm just kind of turtling at this point. I just need to get that rook out, and I'm not sure how to do it. Maybe we go for h5, h4, and bring the rook up that way. But that does look dangerous because then that lets the knight in, and that f2 square is very weak. So you have to be careful about that. So ideally, if the knight was off the board, then we could play h5, and then we get our rook in the game via h6, which could be an idea. Looks like he's having to think too. He's probably going to want to move his queen, because not necessarily right now, but there are possible tactics involving moving the bishop. Like if he keeps the queen there, maybe I can play bishop b4, trade his bishop off, and then I could actually play g6 and move my king into g7 to get the rook off. Because now that the dark square bishop's off that diagonal, it's a little bit less dangerous. That though in that position, the knight would only be defended by the king, but and susceptible to possible checks and stuff at some point if the knight were to ever move. But I think that might be a plan if he doesn't move his queen. Is just trade the dark square bishop off, open up my rook, and that open file. Honestly, just say we're okay with giving up the pawn. We just want to survive to the end game, and go from there. But both those bishops are scary. I need to trade off at least one of them. Having that bishop, maybe in hindsight I should have taken the light squared bishop. Maybe that'll be what it says. I was just worried about possibly him taking our dark squared bishop and then taking with the knight. But then in that case, then maybe the d pawn would have been a lot more secure because we got those two knights guarding. But I don't know. I bet you that might be what the game review says, is I should have taken the bishop instead of the knight. And that would have facilitated more trades too. But I don't know. That is maybe the big mistake, because that's kind of put me in trouble trying to, because my rook hasn't really done anything, and that's the whole purpose of moving my rook to e8, is at least it's doing something there. Behind the queen, yeah, it's backing up the queen, but it isn't really doing too much. But one issue possibly in the future is if he gets a rook on the c file, then I'm gonna have to maybe move my queen somewhere. And he doesn't really know what to play either. Unless he's calculating a big line or some sacrifice or something, but maybe I could, if he doesn't do anything, maybe I could play d4, and if he takes, then we can play bishop c5. Like for instance, this is the line I'm looking at possibly. If his queen's still there, push, and especially if he takes with the rook, maybe we play this move, and his queen's got to move. We'll play that, but I'm honestly happy with him either getting up the exchange or taking with the bishop. So I am giving up a pawn, but maybe a lot safer. This pawn becomes really weak though once this knight leaves. So I don't know. I think bishop b4 is our move though. Wow, and he's down to almost a minute, so I was way behind on time, and now he's struggling to find a plan here. Seems like I don't really have a concrete plan either. I'd be curious to see the engine's kind of ideas in this position. I can't really press him for time because I am playing 15 plus 10, so he has the increment. But so he's not really, even if he's low right now, I don't think he's in danger of timing out or flagging is the correct word for that. But it is something he's gonna have to be aware of, especially if we keep piecing the board and it's a little more complicated. This is the first rapid game I've played in a while. I've been focusing on blitz and even bullet. The bullet I got to 2,000 recently. I since dipped down a few, down to like 1960, 1970. But it was pretty cool to see that rating on my name. Unless he just decided to be frustrated and just stop playing because he's only got 10 seconds left. I'll take it if so. Huh. Did he just abandon the game? Wow. Really? I think the white was completely winning. Really? It's about equal. 0.67. Let's take a look at the game review. Check. Check this. Okay. All right. So wow, what a game. So it says that I played at 88% accuracy and he played at 94. So it was a pretty well played game. Let's check. Let's see what they chess.com. Chess.com gave me a 2250 rating, and gave him a 2550 rating. So I was able to survive, but I think he probably, if it kept going, he would have won. It was very difficult to defend there. So let's start off. We get e4, c5, d4, c takes d4, c takes c3, which is the Smith-Morra Gambit, as I said. This is all book. It's all been seen before. I want to see what... So, knight f6 isn't the best move. I'm assuming that they want me to play bishop e7 or probably a6 need to be played because I need to keep this knight out of here. Let's see what the engine wants. Yeah, a6, because that knight ended up being a problem, and you saw the d6 pawn, the d6 square became really weak in my position, and allowed some tactics, including that knight d6 move. So I ended up playing knight f6, he castles, I played d6. This is book. This is all book. Here I should have just castled, but I was worried about my queen in the file, and I was trying to be prophylactic. This was okay. This was good. It wasn't a mistake. But best here would have just been the castle, or maybe bishop d7, but I don't like that it does break this off, but this seems like a clumsy move. I know it says it's best, but I don't really love it in this position. It seems really clumsy and passive. And he plays this move, which I sort of missed. And yeah, I could tell. I'm surprised it wasn't a mistake or anything like that, but I really didn't want this knight to land here. And it did eventually, but I think I made him think and cause some practical problems maybe. So we take, and then yeah, I played king f8, which is the only move. And he takes the bishop here, and I'm wondering, I was thinking about this for a while. I was wondering if I should take this bishop or take the knight. And the idea of taking the bishop, the one thing that worried me was this rook having access to this file. It is defended by the queen and the bishop, but that was a little bit worrisome for me. But if I take the bishop here, it forces more material to come off, because if I take, he has to take the bishop, because if he doesn't, I'm taking next move, and he has no other moves because he's, besides that, the knight's trapped. So I'd get more pieces off the board. You'd see an eventual position with like this knight being here, then this knight's coming off the board. This is off the open D file, which may have been decent for me, but this is not what I was at. So rook taking was the best move. I wonder what the engine thinks of this. Doesn't love it. About white is +1 about, whereas taking with the rook, it's about even. So I did make the right move. Here the bishop comes back, and then this is okay. I'm glad I played h6. That was the best move. The idea, it's kind of a more deep positional concept. So right now this pawn is defended by this f6 knight and this queen. Actually, you could argue it's more tactical, but if he wants to win this pawn, he needs to get rid of one of my defenders. And so ideally his bishop comes down. Even though they say bishops are better than knights, in this position you're winning a pawn. So if you get his bishop there, is what do you want to do? One, if I remove the knight, let's say like something like here, then that's putting a lot of pressure on this e7 bishop. But ideally you take here, and then I take back, and then he could just win this pawn outright. And I couldn't take back because my queen was the only defender. So I play this move to stop the bishop coming in, and then he plays this move, which is inaccuracy. And I knew it was coming. I wasn't sure what to do. Oh, I guess I could have played bishop b4 here and traded some bishops off. Queen b6 was the second best move. Queen c7 was the third best move according to the engine. Bishop b4 actually equalizes, but I'd bring the queen back home to c7, and it at this point it's white is slightly better, but nothing crazy. So this is a mistake. Now that it's calculating more, probably it's saying because of this move, and I was worried about that. I'm glad he didn't play it, but this pressure on the queen, I'm not gonna really have anywhere to place it. I'm gonna have to put it here maybe, and that's just a miserable position. Oh, and I'm looking at the engine, and it's saying my h5 idea to get the rook out is actually one of the better ideas, because h5 came up on the engine as one of the moves. But he plays here, which is a miss. He had a win with rook d8, or he's better by a whole pawn. It's still only +1.5, but I mean it's very tough to play for me. I moved the rook over. It wanted rook here to defend the pawn, but I just wanted to create some activity. I mean, this is really tough. And he just times out. I guess he just didn't know what to do. But it's about equal here, and I can understand why. It's very frustrating to play. He can't really break through yet, and he's going to have to make some trades. And I think he wanted to go for the kill. But I survived, and I think big lessons you can take from this game is my biggest mistake here was probably allowing this move. It caused a lot of problems on position. So instead of playing queen here, I needed to either play a6 or castle, maybe. In fact, e5 here, actually black is slightly better, which is interesting, which seems counterintuitive because you're letting this knight in. This d5 square becomes really weak, but then now we can bring our bishop out and maybe start controlling the square a little bit. But yeah, very interesting game. Be curious to see what you guys think. Hopefully it was instructive. And one thing before I go, I've been wanting to review some beginner games, because I'm around 1800 to 2000 depending on time control, and I'm by no means a title player or master or anything like that, but I think I have some good advice to give, and I'd be interested to see some of y'all's games. So if you have some stuff, feel free, please send it to me via email. I think my email information is in my bio on YouTube. Or send me a comment or something with a link to the game. I'd love to look at it. But yeah, I mean, I appreciate y'all for watching. This might have been a long one. I don't even know how long it's been. Looks like it's about 40 minutes. That's not too bad. It could be worse. But I hope y'all enjoyed. Y'all take care, and peace.